Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to my garden. You're joining me on another bulb planting day today. It is the end of October here. We are on the east coast of Canada, and it is really hot. I should say warm, not hot. It's about 19-20 degrees Celsius, which is basically room temperature. So I think that would make it about 72 degrees Fahrenheit. That is incredibly unusual for the end of October. And if I'm honest, a little frightening, but my dahlias are still going, so I'm not going to complain. Today though, I have different bulbs to plant. I have quite a bit of garlic, but I think I decided that I'm going to put the majority of that into the raised bed that my dahlias are in. There's quite a bit of room in there, but I haven't dug up my dahlias yet. So the one that I did bring out was my elephant garlic. These things are huge. They're so much fun. And they're technically not even a garlic, they're technically a leek. I'm going to break one of these open so that you can see the cloves. Here is one clove of elephant garlic. I think this one's even bigger. There. This is the size of an entire bulb that you usually get at the grocery store. So much fun to plant, and you'll never find elephant garlic at the grocery store. You can, however, find it at garden centers. I think I paid $1 per clove when I bought these originally. I think I bought 6, and I've just been multiplying them every year. So I have, I think, 24 full bulbs from cloves I planted last year. So we'll actually have some to eat this year, which is exciting. So that's the elephant garlic. I also, in clearing out the greenhouse, I found this, which has been sitting there way too long. I totally forgot about these. When I pulled up my elephant garlic, they had all these tiny little, I think they're called bulblets. I looked them up at the time, attached to the side of the bulbs that I pulled off. And they're essentially tiny, tiny little mini bulbs. So I think I'm going to plant some of these too. I suspect it'll take 2 to 3 years to get a full-sized bulb out of these, but what a great way to fast track your stock if you really want to build up stock for something like this. I have not seen these on the regular garlic I grow. I grow Music and Mennonite, which are both slightly bigger varieties also, but not nearly as big as these ones. Over here I have snowdrops. 100 of these, and I have no idea where I'm going to put them. Surprise, surprise. So I think I might have a plan, but I'm going to get to these first. Now these ones are all my brand new lilies. I did not get these wholesale. I just got 3 to 4 of a couple of different varieties, and I'm going to put these in one of my raised beds that are cleared out and ready to go. So I also have a few lilies dotted around my landscape in the front that I tend to use for cutting, and I'm going to dig those up and move them back here also, along with the ones that I have in a bulb crate at the moment. So, but before we get to that planting, I want to show you this little tiny container that might look empty, but in here we have freshly harvested saffron. I've been finding flowers for 3 or 4 days now. I think only 4 flowers so far, but I just glanced over and there's at least that many ready right now. So come on over with me. We're going to harvest some saffron, and this box is full of brand new saffron crocus that needs to be planted like a month ago, but better late than never. So there's the raised beds cleared out and ready to go. These 2 are going to have the lilies if I need that much space. I'm not sure that I will. And this 3rd one here will be for the elephant garlic. Moving over here though, we see that beautiful little bit of purple. This is where we have saffron blooming. So here's what I have so far. The 4 or 5 little dried up stamens, I think. They're already in there, and you can see the fresh ones have a lot more bulk to them. They really shrink up when they dry. But to harvest these, I'm just trying to move those other bits out of the way and then pull this straight up from the bottom. And that is your saffron. This is zone 6, and these are easily hardy to this area. So look at the striping on those flowers also. Isn't that just gorgeous? So I could open that up and harvest that right now, but I'll wait till tomorrow so that I don't have to destroy the flower in order to get at it. So this is basically all I got last year. So if we get another week or so of flowers, that should be really exciting. I am going to go put this safely in the house, and then let's get to bulb planting. Now these are the two beds right here that are going to be my lily beds. I've dug up, this crate right here came out of the front yard landscaping, and I am pretty sure they are all the Oriental hybrids, which are the later blooming varieties. This is a little bit of a mix. I'm going to try to separate out the Asiatics to put in the front, and what I suspect are the Orientals to go here in the back with these ones. So I've pulled out a few things. I had some rosemary and some thyme left in here. This bed last had, the pumpkins and the squash. This is the bed actually that had elephant garlic over the winter and into late spring. When I pulled that up, I planted pumpkins and squash and fennel. So this was a really productive bed this year. So there are the new bulbs. These ones came out of the front yard landscaping. These are nice big bulbs, and I'm just now noticing some tiny little bulblets actually growing off of the stem, not off of the bulbs themselves, which is interesting. There, right there, tiny little bulbs. So those might take a couple of years. There's another one. Those might take a few years to get to full size, but isn't that interesting? That is a really good sized bulb. This, I believe, is a Casablanca, but I'm not totally positive. So our front yard beds are really heavy clay. So I'm going to try to break off some of it without disturbing the bulb too much. Okay, so there's the main bulb, so this must be a couple little offshoots. I have a couple of clumps that need separating, and lilies really benefit from being separated every couple of years anyway. Gives them more room to grow and continue to multiply. And once I clean these off, I'm going to be cutting the stems too. Because at this point, we don't need to have those. Now this is a group of 3 stems that are really close together, so that one might be a good candidate to be separated. Let's see. This one looks like it's growing sideways, but that might be growing off of the side of another bulb. So I don't just want to yank these apart because that soil is really sticky and I don't want to damage any of the bulb. Oh, that one broke off anyway. And I'm not really able to get in here easily, so I'm going to leave those. Let's start planting. There, see, it's much darker underneath because I've been adding a lot of compost to these beds. Okay. Let's stick the single bulbs in first. I almost planted that one upside down. There. These little tiny ones can go a little bit closer together. But ideally these would be separated by variety, but since I failed to mark them when they were blooming, and I did not take the time to go back and study the footage to see what was where, this is going to be a bit of a mix. But where I grow on a pretty small scale, having everything separated out by variety is not really a big concern. Now these ones have not died back yet, so I am not going to cut them. They're the ones I planted really late, and I want to keep them going for as long as possible. These to me look like they're all Asiatics, except for this one. So those are going to stay here. These are going to go over there. If you're here to find out how to grow lilies for flower farming, this is not that place. This is, I mean, I suppose flower farming on a very small scale, but when you're on a small scale, these little details aren't really as important, like separating out varieties and things, and knowing what you've planted. Now, I do have records of all the bulbs I bought over the last couple of years, so I should say I do know what varieties I have. I just don't know what is exactly where at this point in time. So here are the new ones that I have this year, and this is likely a mix of Asiatics and Orientals. It doesn't say here on the packet. This one says Easy Vanilla. There's 2 of those. Lily Bright Diamond, 3 of those. Lily Blacklist, okay, this is an Asiatic, I'm almost positive. 3 of those. 2 more Easy Vanilla. Lilium Brasilia, 3 of those. That one's a new one. And Josephine, okay, I have this one already, but which bed it's in, I don't know. I think it was in the crate, but we have a little bit of both of those. So, now these come from a local company called Vessey's, and we are in Nova Scotia. Vessey's is in PEI. It's about a 4-hour drive from here. These are, the Atlantic provinces are pretty small, so it doesn't take that long to go from one to the other. And what I like about this packaging is it is bio-based plastics, it says, and you can apparently put it in the green bin. And it will compost, which is nice. And I'm gonna leave all of these wood chips, sawdust stuff in here because that is all gonna break down and contribute to the organic matter of the bed. So Josephine, okay, I should probably have a plan before I just go dumping stuff out. Josephine, I don't have enough of these to do full rows. What if I put them in a grid? Let's make sure I get the roots pointed down first of all. Let's stick Josephine in here. I'm just doing this so that I can see what I've already planted. All right, Easy Vanilla is going to go up here. Oh, that was only 2, that's right. I'm putting them a good 4 inches down. And yes, I am rushing. Buster, can I train you to plant bulbs? Bright Diamond, content 3. Brasilia Lily, 3, and 3 Blacklist. And this I'm going to put in rows. I'm going to put Blacklist there and Brasilia right there. It's definitely starting to rain now. If I have to cut this short, my elephant garlic is basically going to be planted exactly like this. I put them about 6 inches apart because they are really big bulbs, which is, these are, I'm sort of putting the lilies 4 inches, but the rows themselves are 6 inches apart. And I'm likely going to move and divide them in 2 years anyway. So if I forgot to mention it already, these were the lily bulbs that I got on clearance late in the season this year. So I know they look pathetic in that crate, but I didn't expect them to do much anyway. The spacing of these is mostly dependent on how big the bulbs are. So these are small. I'm going to put them closer together. There. I don't think I took up all this space. No, I have a good 18 inches in here, so perfect spot for daffodils. These are orange juice daffodils. They're only 6. Oh, it's raining now. There's only 6 of them, but I forgot to plant them when I planted all the rest of my daffodils. So they are gonna go right here, and then I'll move them later. Right, I'm shoving these in the ground and then I'm gonna have to grab and run before my camera gets wet. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. We'll do the elephant garlic in the next video. 'Tis the season for planting in the rain. There, done. Buster, get in the house, it's pouring. Come on.